Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's video, I'm going to share with you 5 little side hustles that you can do in 2024 throughout your Pokemon investing journey. Now, before we get stuck into the video, the last video I did, which I'll leave a link in the description, doesn't matter what it was, but the last video I did was the first video I ever asked people if they'd like to subscribe. And I had probably over double the subscribers gained from that video than what I've ever had in the past from any other video. So, I don't know, maybe it works. We're not going anywhere. I'm Michael, this is PokeOz. If you'd like to subscribe and keep watching some sweet Pokemon investing content and sharing the journey, then please click the subscribe button. Anyway, let's get stuck into it. 5 Pokemon investing side hustles that you can start in 2024. I'll get to them in a second, but I think one of the things that sort of sits in people's mind when it comes to Pokemon investing is there's really only one way to do it, which is to buy a card or to buy sealed product and sit on it and wait for it to go up in value and then sell it. But there's a bit more to that. Well, there's a bit more than that, I should say. So let's start off with number 1. Now, the first, I suppose, side hustle you can do and is probably this one, which is buying collections and then selling them individually. So buying bulk, piecing out and selling individually. And I suppose when it comes to these side hustles, before we sort of explore this first one in detail, I suppose, you know, a hobby is something that we've probably all enjoyed throughout our lives. Like, we've had different hobbies and we've enjoyed them, we love them, we've done this, we've done that. When it comes to Pokemon, I've forever been in the hobby. And I thought, you know what, 5 years ago was the time that I really wanted to try and start making serious money out of it. Not serious money, but I suppose some additional income to support what I want to do, whether it's going on a holiday or having fun with friends or buying this or buying that or putting it into the house or investing it into something else. Like, it was time to really, I suppose, step up the game. So maybe these are some 5 side hustles that you could do, or at least choose one of them to start in 2024 to make yourself some additional income. Now, I'm going to sort of talk about the pros and the cons in them, but let's get back on the track. So number 1, buying bulk and selling individually. Now, this can be good, lucrative, so to speak, but also extremely time consuming. So I suppose the pro of this is you could make decent money out of it. The con, on the other hand, is it takes a lot of time. Now, whatever we do in life, for work, it's generally some sort of exchange, isn't it? Like, we're exchanging our time for money. We're selling services or goods and we're getting money from it, but in turn, we're giving up our time. And that time's precious. Like, we could spend it with family and friends, or we could spend it doing hobbies we enjoy. We could spend it at the gym or playing sports or holidaying. So we're giving up time for money. And that's one of the biggest things about buying bulk collections, or the biggest con is, let's say you go buy a $10,000 bulk collection, right? And when it comes to buying that $10,000 card collection is what I meant. You know, you've got to individually piece those out. Not only do you need to individually piece those out, you need to individually list those cards, and then you need to individually sell them. Now, probably the best place for selling, in case you want to give this a go, is probably TCG Player. It's pretty easy. You don't need to do anything. Like, you don't need to add photos and make listings. Like, you just need to choose the condition and be fair about it, because that's the one thing that'll come back and bite you on TCG Player. You need to say whether it's, you know, lightly played or moderately played or near mint or mint condition, and list it. Like, that's the great thing about TCG Player. You can make multiple listings really, really quickly and not waste the time. Like, putting a listing on eBay can take sometimes 5 minutes. You've got to get the right photos. You've got to get the listing right. You've got to get the right tags. You've got to get the health of the ad up to 100% if you can, and it just takes time. So TCG Player is the best way for selling bulk. But that's the first side hustle that I wanted to talk to you about, buying bulk collections and selling individually. Now, I used to do this quite regularly, particularly with the Dragon Ball Z CCG. I used to buy bulk collections, piece them out, sell them. Sometimes you'd find some diamonds in the rough as well that people just didn't know were worth money. And, you know, it might be $15 cards or $25 cards in amongst all the 50-cent cards and dollar cards. Now, the way I used to do it on eBay, which took me more time, but I found it was a little bit more lucrative because at the time people would pay for postage. Like I used to put $1.50 postage, and this is when stamps were like 50 cents. So you'd sort of pocket a little dollar off every card you sold as well, because people were sort of happy to pay that $1.50 postage. Well, I found anyway. Number two, buying the card and then grading it. So buying a raw copy and grading it. Now the con with this, and I'm going to use this example, right? Plasma Storm Charizard, okay? In Australia, and I'm just going to talk Australian dollars. It doesn't matter about the dollar figure. It's more about the relationship to how it grades. So in Australia, this card raw, you're probably going to have to spend somewhere around $500 to get a pretty nice looking copy raw. Now, if you grade it and it grades a 9, it's worth probably somewhere around 1,300 Australian. If it grades a 10, on the other hand, it's worth a heap more. Like, I don't even know what a 10 would go for. Geez, I don't reckon you'd get much change out of 4,000 Australian, but I'm just hazarding a guess. I don't think a PSA 10 sold here in Australia for a little while, but I don't reckon you'd get much change out of 3 or 4 grand. So you could, in that case, buy it raw if it happens to grade a 10, $500 and turn it into 4 grand. You've 8x'd your money in a very, very short period of time. But here's the risk, right? Let's say it gets a 9. You've pretty much 2x'd your money or 2.5x'd your money. If it grades an 8, or a 7, which is extremely likely if you're buying a raw copy, then it's pretty much worth what a raw copy is worth. So you're doing the whole exercise, and keep in mind there's costs attached to PSA. I'll leave a couple of examples up on the board here, depending on how quick you want the turnaround, what the declared possible value of the card is. There's going to be costs attached to grading it, and then there's also time attached to it as well. Like a return is not quick at the moment. It takes time to get back to you. So time and money with the PSA, that's probably the con of it, but hey, it can be quite lucrative. Like if you're buying really, really nice condition raw cards and you happen to double your money in a short period of time, or 8x your money, if you get lucky and get a 10, you might send 50 submissions in, and you do this sort of gamble across the board, and 3 come back as 10s, 25 come back as 9s, 20 come back as 8s, and 4 come back as 7s. And all of a sudden you realize, okay, I've pretty much broke even on the 7 and 8s. I've doubled my money on the 9s, and I've 4x'd my money or 8x'd my money on the 10s. Or maybe you've lost a bit of money on the 7s. Or some might even grade a 5 or a 4 because there was unknown damage that you didn't know. But across the board, it could be quite a lucrative way to make a little bit of money on the side. And it's also quite fun doing that, seeing what the grade will be like. It's that suspense of wondering what the grade will be. The third little side hustle I think you could start in 2024, and obviously this is the journey I've chosen to take in, when did I start? April, May 2023. So this year, I've only been doing it, 7, 8 months maybe, is YouTube. So if you feel like you've got knowledge to share, maybe some unbelievable collection which has been hidden away that no one knows about, and you think it's going to be cool to show off to the world. Look, I've been doing the whole collecting of Magic the Gathering and Dragon Ball Z and Yu-Gi-Oh! and mostly Pokemon for, forever and a day as far as I can remember. I've had the eBay store up for ages. I've been doing all these side hobbies across the years, and particularly the selling bulk when I had more time back when I was at uni, and now look, I'm busy, I work full time, it's a bit hard to do that. It's hard to get into the post office, etc. So, but anyway, that's why I wanted to focus lately or more recently on the whole sealed product side of it and now the YouTube, because, I think if you've got knowledge and you're somewhat creative, which I'm certainly not, but, you should share it. It creates that community vibe where we can learn off each other. And hey, in the interim, you could be picking up a bit of a paycheck on the side. Look, it's not heaps. I'm hoping to take this channel to bigger and better places where I can start earning more, and then hopefully start giving back in some sort of way. So that's the third one, a YouTube channel. It can be quite lucrative if you get it up there. Like I'm sure PokeRev, for argument's sake, he's got to be probably the most subscribed Pokemon YouTuber or thereabouts, he'd be making extremely good money, I can tell you that much. Even just off the ad revenue alone, he'd be making really, really good money. Number 4, buying and sitting. So this is probably the one that we've all, I suppose, in that mindset about that I mentioned at the start, that you buy a card, you sit on it, it grows in value, you sell it, and you make money. You get capital gains. You buy a sealed product, an XY Evolutions booster box 5 years ago for $250, and now it's worth $900. Buy it, sit on it, sell it. The pro of that is it's extremely time effective. Like, you literally have to do nothing other than click a button on your phone, which you're probably playing on your phone anyway, spend some money, wander down to the post office if it doesn't get dropped off to your house, or wander to your front door and grab it off Posty when he drops it off. So you're not trading off any time for this, which is the biggest pro of just buying and sitting and achieving some capital gains. I suppose the only con of it is maybe you don't feel, or maybe it doesn't feel very involved. It's like you're sort of doing something but not doing something, as in you might buy it and look at it and create a display out of it, but you don't get to sort through it and sell it on eBay or grade it and see what the return is. It's there and it sits and could get stashed away in storage or a cupboard, and you might never even look at it. So I suppose that's a con, but it can be also extremely, extremely lucrative. And that's predominantly what this channel focuses on, is buying, sitting and selling and making capital gains. The fifth one, and I've left this for last because I don't really like it, is flipping. And for the most part, this is out of the hobby, but people have used it as a way of making money. Bulk bots, buying up celebrations, UPCs is one example. And, geez, what price could they have bought them for US? Not very much, and then probably sold them 3x straight away on the secondary market. Same thing, we're probably seeing something quite similar with booster bundles. I see this a bit. I'll just show an auction up here that's just finished for $540. I don't know what this person's paid for it, but they could well have bought it at launch, pre-release, $350, $400 straight away in a month's time or a couple of weeks' time, flipped it, made $150, made $200. Like, it is a way to make money off the hobby, but I don't like it. And I cop it all the time at work. Not so much anymore. The market's starting to cool. The pendulum's starting to swing the other way. Whatever terminology you want to use, it is cooling. Supply's starting to pick up again, and demand's maybe starting to drop with less spare money around. So we're starting to see the decline of that, but it has been a way to make money. It's probably not the one I suggest. I do strongly suggest, though, the first four. Hey, leave me a comment down below. If you're thinking of trying something as an additional way of making some passive income as a side hustle in 2024, let me know the plan. Maybe you've thought of something, or there's another example that I haven't included here. Again, I'm Michael, this is Pokey Oz, and I'll catch everyone next time.